Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm going to be making a video today that's a little bit different than the previous music-related videos I've made in the past. So I have something very special I wanted to share with all of you, and that's this saxophone right here. It may not look like much, but I've been searching for this saxophone for over about 3 years now. I found some instruments made from a similar era that were made a little bit later than this instrument. I found a few saxophones that claimed to be this but weren't authentic, and now I finally have this horn in my possession. So what is it? This is one of the original saxophones made by Adolphe Sax, the inventor of the saxophone. This horn was made back in 1861, so it's over a century and a half old, and it's among some of the earliest saxophones ever made. It's quite literally a piece of musical history that I'm holding here. Now, ultimately, my plan is to lend this horn out to a museum so that others can also benefit from this piece of history. But while I have it in my possession, I figured I'd make a video looking at this horn and some of the details of it, how the saxophone's changed over the years, and some ways that it stayed the same as well. Okay, so for comparison, I have my Selmer Reference 54 alto saxophone. We'll use this as an example of a modern saxophone as we compare it side by side with the Adolphe Sax. So the first thing I noticed right off the bat when I picked both of these horns up is just how much heavier the modern saxophone is than the Adolphe Sax. There was a lot more metal that goes into the production of modern saxophones than what was originally used, and it feels a lot more lightweight. Additionally, the key work is a bit more rudimentary on the Adolphe Sax. There's a lot less redundancy with some of the springs and roller bars that you have on the modern saxophone. The other thing I'll show you now, I'll put them side by side. I don't know how much you can tell, but you see that the bell is a bit shorter on the Adolphe Sax compared to the modern one as well. It's because originally the saxophone was keyed only down to a low B, not B flat. So when we look at the bells here, you notice there's only one tone hole as opposed to two, so the range was a little bit shorter on the original saxophone as well. And you can notice right off the bat here that there's some differences in the key work, so we'll kind of go through that next. So we'll start here on the right hand. You'll notice that the pinky finger keys here, it's two small teardrop keys for the Adolphe Sax. It's missing a lot of the ergonomics of the modern saxophone with the shape of the keys, with a roller in between them to roll between low E flat and C. Additionally, you'll notice there's no side F sharp trill key or high F sharp key. It's just bare metal right there on the original saxophone. Those developments hadn't occurred yet. And then when we look at the side keys, so obviously with the modern saxophone, we have the side B flat, C trill key, and high E key. You just have the two keys on the side here, the side B flat and the high E key. There's no trill keys on the original saxophone. So moving up now to the left-hand stack, you'll notice again some differences in the keys. The modern sax has a few more pearls there. You can see that there is a bis key right here, as well as a high front E key as well. So that's absent on the original sax. There's no bis key. There's really no connection between the right hand and left hand stacks. You couldn't finger B flat as 1 and 1. Pretty much you have to do first two fingers in side B flat is the only way you'll finger that on the Adolphe Sax. Again, the left hand spatula, the ergonomics that we have of that spatula were absent originally. There's just the low B and C sharp keys, and then that circular key in the middle there is your G sharp key. Again, just kind of the rudimentary design before the modern spatula was developed. Palm keys are more or less about the same. So one of the biggest differences I've noticed between these two saxophones comes from back here. If you'll notice, the Adolphe Sax has 2 octave keys. So what's that all about? So the saxophone has 2 octave vents, one for notes from D up through G sharp, and a separate octave vent that opens up for A and notes that are higher than that. So here's the lower octave vent for notes from D through G sharp, and then you have the upper octave vent for A and above. And the way that the horn toggles between the two is through the ring finger here. So as I'm lifting and lowering my ring finger, the horn automatically switches between the lower and the upper octave vent. So with the original saxophone, that technology hadn't been invented yet. So you can see I'm pressing the octave key here, and I'm raising and lowering my ring finger, and nothing's happening. So to switch between those 2 different octave vents, you had to manually pick which octave key you were pressing. So if you were playing anything from D to G sharp, like I said, you would press this button to manually raise that lower octave vent. And if you play anything from A and higher, then you would press this other octave button to raise that octave vent. You can imagine it would be very difficult to do a trill between G and A on this horn. So those are all the major differences between these horns. So please let me know in the comments section if there's anything else you want to know about this horn. I can make another video and answer those questions. Okay, so here comes the next question I'm sure a lot of you are probably asking. Does this horn still play? Am I going to play it? Should I play it? And I've gone back and forth quite a bit on whether or not I should play this horn or just keep it on display. I have heard that the horn has been played recently, so it's not like it is sat untouched for over 100 years. And after much thought, I have decided I am going to play it just once and record a video of it like we're doing now, so we can all discover together for the first time what does this horn sound like. So got my microphone all set up here. And full disclaimer, I have no idea what this is going to sound like. I don't know if it'll even make a sound, but we are going to find out together. Okay, we're going to start off with this Selmer SADC double star, pretty standard classic mouthpiece. So yeah, definitely some intonation issues, but I am very impressed at the condition that it's in. And that octave key is really kind of throwing me through a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to try this on a Jody Jazz hard rubber mouthpiece and see how this horn sounds on a jazz mouthpiece. It actually seems to sound better on that piece. I don't know if having a higher baffle is better for this horn, but I'll take it for a little more of a spin here. There's that octave key again. I'm used to the G sharp key going down on modern day saxes when you're below a G sharp, but here it just stays open, obviously. Okay. All right, well, there you have it. Again, I'll make another video if people have any requests or any further questions about this horn. If not, thanks for watching.